Hey everybody, it's Tim Garvin at South Fork Country Club coming to you with our winter fireside update from the golf club. On behalf of the board of directors, the entire staff, we hope that you had a great holiday season and a happy new year. I'm going to introduce to my right Alex Walter, Vice President, COVID Chair, Tim Brenneman. He's going to be building and grounds in 2022, and President John Grossman. So we hope you had a great new year, and I'm going to turn it over to Tim.
Sure, thanks, Tim. Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. We did this last year right around the same time and got great feedback. Really just want to have a conversation today and kick around sort of the year that was and what we're talking about for 2022. Really happy to have this opportunity to share some of our perspectives on this. And so, John, really first question to you. 2021 was really a year of transition for the club. A lot of things went on, from the introduction of a new management structure. We completed a member survey, went through a number of steps communication-wise in the survey, did some work, some pretty significant work on the golf course, and so I just wanted you to talk a little bit about 2021 to the membership.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. I hope everyone's doing well. We're in an Arctic freeze out here. Getting a little tired of the thermal underwear. Looking forward to next summer, for sure. The first thing I wanted to do was just mention that we have 3 new board members this year, and we have 3 board members who left. We had Michael DeSario, Maddie Stoller, and Jay McGlynn leave the board after many years of service, so we really thank them for all their hard work over the many years that they've been involved. And they've been replaced with Kathy Rockland. Very happy to have Kathy, Alex Frank, and Alex Esposito as our new board members. So congratulations, and best of luck to everybody leaving and everybody coming. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, and we've done a lot of work over the past year. Primarily, I'd say our management structure was our most significant change in 2021. And a big shout out to Tim Garvin, who put together a different type of management structure than most of our golf facilities see. We now have a team of people working under Tim. We found it to be very useful, I think you'll agree. And that was really a big plus this year. It took a lot of effort. And I think you're going to see it pay dividends as we move forward. Everybody understands what their place is, what their role is. And beyond that, the things that we did this year, we completed holes 14 and 15, the tee boxes on 16. Some significant work by Gil Hance gave us a second round to see exactly what Gil does and how they operate. In general, the consensus was overwhelmingly positive about the new holes and the style of golf. There's more to come. In 2022, we have approved the renovations of holes 16, 17, and 18, which I think would be very exciting for us. Did I miss anything?
No, but I missed something in my setup, which was the 100-year anniversary celebration, which was a real highlight, I think, for the club last summer.
Talk about it.
Well, my committee was very involved with that, and certainly Jeannie Zakowski deserves a lot of credit for the planning. Tim and his staff, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but we were really short-staffed for much of the year. And in spite of that, we pulled off one heck of a 2-night party to celebrate South Fork's 100 years. So really hats off to Tim, and I think the membership really, really appreciated that event last year for sure.
Once in 100 years. It was great.
Yeah, we probably won't see the next one.
None of us.
But you know what? It was a great 2 nights because they were totally different. One was, you know, the family with the kids with a lot of things for the kids to do, and the next night was, you know, without kids, A lot of the older members were, it was like the younger members' night, the first night, and the older members' night, the second
You
night.
came for a hot dog the first
I
night.
did come both nights because I was looking for the hot dog. I love that hot dog guy.
Everybody loved the hot dog guy.
And one other thing about what we finished in 2021 was the maintenance building for our superintendent and his staff, which I think for him was a really good thing. We were able to clean up a lot of what was outside, equipment that was outside, sitting outside in containers, and it made it much easier and more efficient for our maintenance staff.
Yeah, if you think about it, it's been very productive here over the past 4 years. We've seen a clubhouse renovation complete top to bottom. We've seen our golf holes get renovated. We've seen a maintenance barn or watersheds. There's so many things that happen, and there are so many ways that we really had to bring the place up to date, and have spent a lot of time doing that. And our intention is to continue into this year, as we said, with the 16th, 17th, and 18th hole. One other thing I wanted to mention is that at the same time that we're working on improving all of our golf course facilities and our management, we're also working on housing, which is a huge undertaking. It's so difficult right now to buy housing. Last year, we did purchase housing on Barnes Hole Road, the 4 cottages. They've been incredibly useful, but that's really not enough because it's become so onerous that for our staff to find housing, for us to find housing, is a really difficult feat. In any case, our intention is to continue on this, purchase another house for our staff this year, and if all goes well, we've been trying, but the market has been so difficult that we find things and they disappear quickly. But we've got our eyes on another site, and we're going to keep on with that because we think that long term that's absolutely essential. Wish that had started 20 years ago, but here we are dealing with it now, and we're happy to.
Yeah, that's great. And Tim, I'm going to just continue that theme and go to you with it, because John just sort of hit on one of the real challenges that we faced in 2021. And I wondered if you could talk a little bit about some of the challenges that the club faced throughout the summer, and we'll talk a little bit later here about some of the things that we're doing to address that.
Yeah, I mean, for the first time in a very long while, there was kind of like the country club restaurant style, and then there was the dining style in East Hampton. And our advantage was always that the hours were shorter from the day, and then they didn't have to work until midnight. And we are in direct competition now with every restaurant from Montauk to Southampton. So it's been difficult. We tried to include some incentive programs, which helped a lot. But one of the things that really helps the most is this concept of family and orientation and incentive programs, so people want to come back and stay with us. And we started doing that last year. We've always treated the staff like family, but we want them to feel comfortable, and we want them to rethink moving on for a few dollars more, because we are in competition, and it's it's very difficult. We need the housing very, very much, but we've got loyal employees that want to come back, and I think it was difficult to expand the numbers of dining that we could handle between the dining staff and then having some golf staff come in to alleviate the pressure on the dining staff. And I think next year is going to be great.
And on that, Alex, certainly we're not the only business that's experiencing this kind of issue with employees and so forth. And I just wonder if you could talk about some of the things the board is thinking about and talking about to address these situations.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. John has already kind of explained some of the things we've done. I mean, we're in a situation, as Tim said, that we're in competition, not just with other golf clubs, which that's what we used to be. Now we're in competition with actually every employer, not restaurants, just employer in the town of East Hampton for staff. So as John mentioned, we did buy the cottages last year, and that's worked out really well. And we're hopefully close to doing something in addition to that, so that we can attract the best and keep the very good people that we have. So it's a question of how do we remain attractive to them? Can we provide housing? And if we don't provide housing, we're like the dinosaur, because almost every employer in the town is trying to do the same thing.
Right.
And so if we don't do that, if we can provide housing, salary, benefits, bonus to our employees that we want to keep and that we want to attract going forward, we're gonna try to do that, and that can only benefit the club. Now, obviously, that has a cost to it, because now we have hopefully we'll have 2 properties that we've got some maintenance on, and it's going to be a situation where our salaries have to be competitive. I mean, we brought in 3 very qualified administrative people last year, but that doesn't come inexpensively. We've got to make sure that we're competitive with that. Same with if you ask the local restaurant people, they're paying their waitresses, waiters, dishwashers a whole lot more than they used to. So we've got to be competitive with that. So those are the things that we've kind of seen through the past 2 years, and we want to next year address that, and we think we will with housing.
And just a quick question, Alex. That ties into the bonus, correct? For the
Yes,
for the
I think I
staff?
mentioned that.
Okay.
With
Okay.
salary, benefits,
Great.
housing, bonus, it's all a package of compensation
Right.
that makes us attractive to keep our very best people.
And that, by the way, also goes for our entire grounds crew as well. And to me, that one is the easiest one to explain everything. Because our landscape, as COVID has boomed, as COVID has exploded, people's homes have become more important to them, landscaping has become more important to them, hardscape has become more important to them. And we find that the landscapers are very tough to compete with, and that's what our grounds crew is competing with. That's in a nutshell, that says what's going on.
Yeah, and if we go back up to 30,000 feet here, we know our employees are central to the South Fork experience. Everything from the way that we're greeted when we arrive, to the service that we receive, to the smiles that we get from our staff. And so we're very focused on this, and it is something that we're constantly thinking about and trying to address. And John, this kind of feeds back in. You recently sent out an annual letter to the membership and dealt with some financial issues. And the club, in spite of these investments, continues to be in really good financial shape. And I wondered if you could comment about that.
Yeah, absolutely. The club is in great financial shape moving forward, and that's the way we always want to be. We've addressed the dues, and we do the best we can every year, but we do have a lot of obstacles, challenges in terms of everything that we've been talking about. Our capital fund is very strong, regardless of the money we're going to be using for the renovation of 16, 17, and 18, and we plan on keeping our capital fund very strong, increasing it, and growing carefully and thoughtfully with the times. In terms of the dues, we do our best based on all of these parameters to keep them within range. We're all members. None of us want to pay high dues. We have inflation setting, and there are a lot of reasons why our dues went up 7% this year. It could have been more, but we are very thoughtful and careful. We spend a tremendous amount of time working on all of that to keep our dues down, and that's one of the things that makes us different than most of the clubs out here, is that their dues are significantly higher, and our location is significantly better than most of the other clubs. And that's really the attraction here as we see moving forward. We have a super healthy list of people who are trying to get into South Fork. I think we're up to 59 people on a waiting list. Our attrition this year was not what it was in the past, and we think that we attribute that to COVID, people not wanting to give up memberships, but we assume maybe 8 people per year is what typically, historically, it's been 10%. But as we see changeover, that will be important in terms of our strategy, and as our capital fund grows as well, that will dictate what we can do in the future.
Yeah, so Tim, next question to you, and let's really, you wear a couple of hats now, so let's bifurcate this and go back to what you know best and have you talk a little bit about golf. And golf presented some unique challenges again in 2021, not quite at the level it was last year, so we kind of refer to it as a near normal year of golf. But I wondered if you could talk about your perspectives, things that were accomplished in 2021 in the golf program.
Yeah, we hired Angela Toko, who was a great addition as a female assistant. She's working down at Jonathan's Landing right now in Jupiter, and she'll be back with us, next year. And we've got a great golf staff. I mean, we've got a great golf staff that basically understands the concept of club first, and that we have to do whatever we have to do to make it successful. And that's rare. I mean, it's a rare point when you get to people that want to wait tables and help the entire staff. And we did a great job with that. This year, tournament-wise, was a little different, but with COVID, changes need to happen, especially with tee times. And again, last year we had a tournament schedule, but we were so engulfed in COVID up until probably June 1st that we tried to enact a schedule at the last minute. Our hopes this coming year are that we're going to have a full schedule. Again, based on COVID, protecting the membership, and trying to do what we can with this virus, which is, we're not changing schedules because we want to. We're changing schedules to actually keep the membership safe.
Yeah, and just want to pay credit to you. You've always been great in terms of the way that you've developed our young professional staff, and I don't think it was ever more visible than last year when those of us were coming in to either get a drink or to have dinner, and to see those same folks pitching in and rolling up their sleeves. What a challenge that was, but also a great learning experience for the staff, and so all the credit to you for that kind of leadership. And speaking of the golf team, is everybody coming back for 2022? What's going on with that?
Everybody's coming back. We're going to lose Taylor Johnson, unfortunately. He accepted a nice assistant professional job at Noyak, working for Pat Gunning. We'll miss him. He's been a valuable asset to us. But we have Tommy Healy coming from Eagle Point in North Carolina, as well as the MacArthur Club in Stuart, Florida. So he'll be taking Taylor's place, but we'll miss him. And he's behind the camera right now, so
We'll miss him,
thanks,
but
Tim.
we won't forget where he is. And then Noyak will be an asset eventually too.
Alex, you've been chairing the COVID committee, probably not the most enjoyable chairmanship you've ever had at South Fork, but for the last 2 years, and really the membership should know the tremendous amount of time that you and John, Tom Deletto, and David Kelly have put into trying to manage what obviously has been a very fluid situation over the last 2 years. And so I wondered if you could talk to the membership a little bit about where we are now and what your thoughts are for 2022.
Sure, Tim, thank you. I think everybody knows the Omicron variant and what it's done to the people in this country and around the world. One thing we can be thankful for is it came while we were not in season. So, because that saved us from a lot of extra angst and work to try to keep the membership and the employees safe. And that's our goal. Everything we do is with that in mind. So every decision we make, even though the membership may not always agree with all the decisions, it's for the benefit of the membership and the employees. And we understand, I mean, there's a lot of different thoughts about vaccines and therapeutics and things, but we're gonna continue to try to do what we feel are the best decisions for our primary goal. So we'll see. Now, Omicron is, they say it's something that is going to come fast and it's going to leave just as quickly, but I think we'd be foolish to think there might not be something else coming down the road in its place. Hopefully the Omicron will be out by, who knows, mid-February, end of February, and that still gives us a little time before we reopen. But we're going to stay diligent. We're going to follow, it's a little confusing to follow all the regulations coming out between the CDC, the federal government, the state government, but we'll parse our way through all of it, and we'll come up with a program which, at the time we open up, we'll institute, but that could change too. So we're trying to stay optimistic here, and we'll continue to do everything we can.
Yeah, and again, on behalf of the membership, I think we owe a debt of gratitude to these guys that have been on this committee. They meet regularly, and it's not a stretch to say several times a day on certain situations to try to adjust to the real-time stuff that's been going on. So thanks again for all of that. And Alex, John already referenced the work that we have planned on the back nine in 2022.
Right.
And we went through an entire communication process with the membership this fall before we made the final decision on that. Wondered if you could just remind the membership of what we have planned for 2022, likely timeframes, and that sort of thing.
As John mentioned, Gil Hans's next phase for South Fork consists of doing renovations on 16, 17, and 18. The renovations we did on 14 and 15, I think everybody would agree, were terrific and great additions to the club. This will be a little different. I mean, we completely redid, the 14th green area, the 15 green area. I think there'll be a little milder renovations for 16, 17, and 18. But we're going to probably be in the same time frame as we were for the last renovation of 14 and 15. We're scheduled to begin right around the same time as before, September 15th in that area. And if the weather holds out, they can work right up through the beginning of December. Now, that's always subject to change considering the weather, which is the same time frame as 14 and 15. And hope to reopen sometime anywhere between May 15th and June 15th. I think we were around May 20th for the last reopening of 14 and 15. Again, all dependent on weather. So the time frame is about the same. I think one thing that's going to be better for the membership is we're going to be able to do a routing that's different and better than we did for 14 and 15, which is basically playing 10 through 15 as you normally would. The golf staff will figure out, how to make that transition from 15th green back to the front nine if the members want to play the additional 3 holes. But that'll be up to the golf staff doing that. It'll be up to the members what, how they want to do it. But the routing will be a whole lot easier for the membership. And at that point we'll have the majority of the golf holes done, and then we'll look at the balance of the project to complete it after we complete this.
Yeah, and with weather being what it is, we should be good. That temporary routing, we imagine, would be for the first month of the season, not into July and August. We hope for good weather, and expect that within that May 15th to June 15th timeframe, we'll be back to playing the full 18 holes rather than a modified version of that. So we don't see that going into July or August, which is where we get our most golf.
Great, thank you. Tim, going to ask you now to change your hat again and talk about the house operation. We experienced far more of a restaurant experience in 2021 than we initially thought we would. And again, hats off to you and your crew. And just wondered if you could talk a little bit about the house operation plans for next year.
Yeah, last year we really tried to focus on how could we expand the operation outdoors. And some of the things that we did were back lawn parties, tables downstairs on Thursday nights, lights. We put in a new retractable awning on the back patio to get more people outside so that they could feel better in fresh air. And we're going to continue that. And whether it's COVID or no COVID, I think we've got a beautiful back lawn with a beautiful sunset, and people want to watch golf and see the golf course. And I think it's been underutilized, and we're going to expand upon that.
Great. And Chef Matt is returning.
Yep, everybody's
Chris,
returning.
Liz,
Everybody
Anna,
across the board.
everybody that we got to know last year, and what a great job, both front of the house as well as, of course, Chef Matt, who's done
Amazing.
a terrific job for us for a long, long time. So
Amazing.
great, thanks for that. So, John, that kind of wraps it up from a overarching perspective. Kind of, as always, the big guy gets the last word here. So, kick it to you to end this thing.
Sure. I think that moving forward, the thing for us as a board to focus on is the continued success of Tim Garvin's management team. That's a big thing for all of us as a member. I'm so excited to have everybody coming back. Housing, right up there, along with our, of course, renovations, keeping all the employees, content within their positions. And, as a board, just continuing to work very hard to, make South Fork the best place it can be, not someplace different. This is a beautiful place, and we want to keep improving it within the scope of what we have. I think everyone's grateful for it. I am, grew up around the corner. I drive by it every day, and I'm grateful for South Fork. I hope you all are too, and I hope you have a great winter.
Hey, thanks, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.